over our garden wall. I hear the sirens call. You can have what you want. Yeah, you can have it all over our garden wall.
Hello there and welcome to Live Music and Me, a series of music podcasts where we get some of our friends to come on and talk about their gig memories. Today's guest was the Scottish singer, songwriter and musician Kevin McDermott. Been a big fan of the Kevin McDermott Orchestra for a long time now, almost 40 years. So was delighted to get Kevin on, and we had a couple of aborted attempts at doing this. As we thought, Kevin was really good company, and some of his recollections were fantastic. We got everything from his very early gig days at the Apollo with the likes of the Rosillos, through to very recently seeing the B-52s and kind of everything in between, via Vancouver, Paris, and also meeting Little Richard in an elevator in America somewhere. So we covered all the bases. It was really good fun. As I say, Kevin was in top form, and we also talked a little bit about what he's got coming up, which is a new album and some gigs that he's mentioned, which we were really pleased to hear about. We had a slight technical glitch on the audio, so we had some sort of audio bounce at my end. But I think Kevin comes across loud and clear, which is obviously the most important part. So yes, I hope you enjoy this one. It's really good fun, and thanks again for Kevin taking part. We'll catch you soon. Take care now. All the best. Kevin, good morning. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you. Delighted to be here at last. Yep.
Yeah, it's taken a bit to land it, hasn't it?
Well, there's always if I'll put aside some 2 or 3 days to do something in particular, but in the back of my mind, I know there's a plane hovering in a holding pattern waiting to land, but I don't know where and when. And it just so happens that sometimes it's a bit more random than normal.
Well, this one's landed, which is great. So,
Great.
so
Yeah.
are you brave enough to have a go at Live Music and Me?
I can have a go at anything you like, at least once.
Okay, then. Well, let's I've asked you a few questions and we'll see how it goes, mate. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully start off with one that's relatively easy. So can you tell us about the first gig that you went to?
First gig I paid to see would have been the Skids in the Haldane building at the Glasgow Art School.
Okay.
That would have been in just beginning of '78 maybe. And the opening band, technically the first band I saw that I paid for was the Scars because they were opening.
Wow. Okay. Very good.
And my pal Jimmy Egypt went to art school, so he informed us that's called the Haldane building, which was down the hill, not part of the art school proper.
Yep.
So I think they do ceramics or something now, but it's on the way to whatever it is at the bottom of the hill, just past Rose Street and whatnot. That was the first gig that I paid to get into. But the first gig that I went to the Glasgow Apollo, of which there's much talk and chat and whatnot, the glorious down the rabbit hole twilight zone that was the Glasgow Apollo was the Rosillos.
Ah, right. Okay.
Also opening that night was Marco's favourite band, Chow Parrot, however you want it.
Yep.
They were opening that night. The Undertones couldn't make it, but however, that night changed my life. That night there.
And why did it change it?
Because it was honestly, it was extraterrestrial experience. It's like, what planet am I on? As soon as you went through those doors, it was the bouncers were all dressed up, hard as nails, but dressed up like 70s geezers. And one of the times I went in, I'd been to my girlfriend's at that time, and one of the guys went through my pockets, and he looked me straight in the eye and he said, "Polo mince and a cream egg." And he was right. They knew what they were looking for, and they called it absolutely right. Anyway, the Apollo was absolutely mind blowing. It was like I just look just what was happening on that stage, and the noise and the company that I was in. I'm doing that. I don't care, but whatever happens anywhere else at any time, if I don't have a go at this stuff here, that's now I share DNA with this experience. I'm now in. So
Yeah.
But the Skids at the art school was phenomenal. Also, that was great.
Were they about the same time, Kevin?
Yeah, that was the 23rd of December 1978. It was the Rizzo's farewell gig, believe it or not.
Right. Yeah.
Christmas party. So, and I think that the skits had just been about a month before. So, Scared to Dance had just came out. Fantastic record. So,
Wonderful. And we've had the pleasure of Faye on the podcast as well. So,
fantastic.
yeah, she's a force of nature.
Yeah, I mean, I've met them off and on with wearing different professional hats now and then, but I've never actually sat in a room and had a chat about it. But I'd love to at some point.
And I take it the Rosillos were good as well as the experience, but the actual performance.
Phenomenal. And the way I remember it is, and probably different or the same, is they must have done at least 20 encores. And it was just like this, a night that went on forever and ever and ever. Plus, it was tradition. Well, I could say tradition. My seat was for the circle, but no one ever stayed in the circle. It was always just shimmying in down the bottom. And I hadn't availed myself of the technique yet, but I learned subsequently what you get one person to go up and distract the bouncer with a ticket, at which case the cavalry arrived, all your mates would run around behind you. And you kind of drew the short straw if you were the one presenting the ticket because you were the one that was called.
Yeah.
But it wasn't me. So,
no. My first gig was at Apollo as well, but it was a slightly different genre. I went to see Rush.
All right, okay.
For my first gig just after April '79.
Right.
So same experience, except I didn't become a musician. So that's the.
Well, I'd only just started as an apprentice in Yarrows at that time.
Yeah.
So I was earning my first money, so I could go to gigs. There's another story actually. I could afford to go to gigs. I could buy records. I could buy clothes. I was finding my own identity. So, and I was thinking that everybody had this experience at 16. Not so. It was just a worlds colliding at that point. I'm leaving school. I'm in this environment where folk can maim and kill if they wanted to with the machinery and and whatnot's available. So I'm learning how to handle myself a wee bit, and then I'm getting paid at the end of the week. And I'm watching Top of the Pops, or I'm reading the NME and sounds, and then I'm going to the gigs. I'm buying the records. I'm wearing some stupid clothes, but these are all my choices. So, but again, back to in my head, my small world, I'm thinking everybody's having this experience at 16 because I was getting back to the Yarrows Training Centre, and in the canteen we were all discussing exactly the same things, and we were the same age, having those same experiences. So it just felt like everybody was doing that at that time. So I suppose I was lucky. Yeah. Or unlucky, when you look at it, they were
good times for sure. I've got a wee bit of echo on it. Are you getting any echo on my chat? No? You okay?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool. We'll just keep going then. Okay, so wind it forward. So tell us about the last gig that you went to.
Last gig was a bucket list gig, bucket list band. This is weird. This is bookending my experience with playing. It was the B-52s at the Barland.
Okay.
Which was, I had to see them because the first tune I ever learned to play on guitar was the riff from Rock Lobster.
Yeah.
I thought, right, what's missing here? I need somebody to hit that block here. So at that point, I bought Jim a pair of drumsticks, so he could hit the clock like. Yeah. Sorry, I'm shaking that. So that's where Jim. That was the first tune that Jim learned to join in with a pair of drumsticks, and it was the first riff that I played on the electric guitar. Was that? So that full circle. Just a few weeks back, the B-52s at the Parliament, and it was wonderful.
Were they good? Yeah.
Oh, phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Magic. That's brilliant. It's a lovely bookend.
Also, the completion of a circle of sorts as well, so that's great.
Yeah, totally. All right, magic. What about the first gig you went to with a partner?
First gig, well, I always went with my pals. I never ever went to a gig on my own. It was always like all my Yarrows fellow apprentices, whether it was I'd go and see Devo with my overalls on. With my Yarrow Shipbuilders Limited, which is YSL, which is Yves Saint Laurent, which makes us the coolest overall wearing apprentices on the Clyde. So anyway, the first gig I took a date to. I didn't admit to. I couldn't tell my pals because I thought, I really like this band. Still do.
Okay.
And I'm sure everybody does. I've seen the fella in charge many, many times now, and I've tweeted them and chatted with them. It was Sister Sledge. at the Apollo.
Okay.
But then again, just one of those things. I can't tell folk I've been to see Sister Sledge. So that's what that was my first date at the Apollo. My first girlfriend, I suppose, took her to the Apollo. But in between, God, this is coming back to me. It was between, I think, in my head, it was between Buzzcocks and Joy Division at one end, and at the other side was Sham 69, and in the middle was Sister Sledge. So that's kind of that was the kind of what's it called? My kind of psyche, my split personality at that time. So that was that. Same girl I took and also didn't tell was to go and see Gary Newman.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and the opening act was Orchestral Manoeuvres. So that was another little. Well, you got everybody right there. Yeah.
You have, and I bet your Sister Sledge were good.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely loved it. And it was like they brought on their granny and all that stuff, and they were all much younger then, and they're all with us, shall we say? So it was just blew me away because I loved it. I recognised a tune from a very early age. My first, that was before we immigrated to Canada when I was very young. It was everybody on the telly was the Beatles, as far as I was concerned. It was like if the Beatles were on, if I was very, very good, I got to see the Beatles. I don't know who they were, and then I had to go for a wee lie down before the Beatles came on. And it could have been anybody. It's like Beatles. So that was kind of from early on. I kind of. I recognised that something that when something's good happening, I'd like to think I recognised it. There was something I would recognise it for what it was.
Okay, so you talked about the Beatles there. So tell us about a bucket gig in the past that you wish you'd been able to get to.
Oh, I wish
any gig.
I'm pretty replete actually. I've seen most of the things I'd really want to see. You might not think that's a difficult question. That is a difficult question because I've been very, very lucky. I would.
Anyone?
My favourite gig that springs to mind as well is like the Replacements in King Tut's. It's just like, when's that going to happen again?
Yeah.
Give me some clues. Who would have been there? I've seen McCartney several times. Obviously, I would love to have seen the Beatles, but that's like saying I like the sea or I like chocolate. It's not really I'm not really pushing the boat out there for it. It's like yeah. Of course, I would have loved to have seen the Beatles, but I was 4.
Yeah.
Young too.
We've had a few. We've had things like Ziggy's last gig at Hammersmith and stuff like that. We've had those kind of bucket gigs.
All right. Okay. Honestly, I've got a major black hole in my knowledge of music. I know quite a lot, I would think, about a lot of music and a lot of things. But between like 1969 and 1974, I know nothing. Like other than Susie Quattro and Sweet and all the other beloved characters, some unsavoury now, but from that time, it's like I was just a kid watching Top of the Pops at that point until punk rock. Yeah. So I've got a gap. So you were talking about Rush, not a thing to me. No, Genesis, not a thing to me. Jet, yes, nothing at all. Know nothing about it. Even Pink Floyd, not a thing. So that's kind of I can live with that.
No, me too. And I think, like yourself, I had a really varied music taste at the time, and I fell out with a lot of my pals because they would be into, say, heavy rock, but I was also into post punk and all that kind of stuff as well. Sure. So I just liked what I liked, So I think sometimes you're quite lucky if you've got mates that introduce you to other bands and artists you probably wouldn't have heard of them. Like Bowie, I got introduced to Bowie at a fairly early age, and I would never have been into Berlin Bowie at 12. Sure. I was just lucky. So. Sure.
Well, again, I'm envious in some respects of a lot of folk, but then on the other hand, it's a yin and yang situation. There's loads of things I didn't get. Back to the Yarrows Training Centre again. When the guys walking around with their combat jackets on with Utopia on the back and stuff. I like Utopia now. Like at that time, it's just like nice jacket. Not a thing. Didn't have a clue.
Okay, no. Listen, we've all got a past, haven't we?
Yeah.
What about? Did you have a gig or a sort of famous good gig that you had a ticket to but you never got to?
The Clash at the Apollo.
When was that?
I can't remember. Maybe I was ill or something. I had a ticket. Don't have it now. I've kept most of my tickets from the Apollo, but I haven't a clue. And there was a guy around the corner from me, a guy called, well, I won't name him actually, but he actually managed to get on stage with the Clash.
Wow.
A lot of people know who this guy is. I'm not really sure what happened to him in later life.
Right.
Part of that for now. But I had a ticket for that gig, and a guy I knew from round the corner was on the stage with the Clash, and I can't for the life of me remember why I was not there. But there we are.
Oh, and that would have been what, 79, 80, something like that?
Yeah. However, I did go and see Buzzcocks, who I loved, and the opening act was Joy Division, and I'd seen Joy Division on the telly, and Ian Curtis and all that, his presence on the telly. It looks like, oh, that's a bit live. It just what is going on here? It's like started as whatever his headspace was when he got on the stage, but see when you saw it live actually happening in front of you, it's like, man, this is something quite different. This is something else. So, that's probably one of my favourite experiences. I don't is that experience seems okay? Probably is. Yeah, would have been Buzzcocks, Joy Division, and Pete Shelley shouting at us, "Run down the front, I take responsibility," and then the bouncer's huckling you as he's taking no responsibility. Yeah.
It's a bit easier when you're 10 feet up, isn't it?
God, it's easier for him to say. I know. 10 or 12 feet. It was a huge, massive stage where they were.
Absolutely.
I did actually hear that the height of the stage was due to the fact it had an orchestral pit at one point, and they lowered the floor towards where the orchestral pit was, but they didn't actually heighten the stage. They lowered the floor. That's one version of it. That's one version of it that I heard, because I couldn't work out why. For the life of me, why is that stage so high? It was really weird. I mean, it was level with the circle.
It was.
Yeah. But they were.
Yeah, a great view from up there. Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
But everyone was down the stalls.
Everyone, always, except for Sister Sledge. Yeah.
Did you ever go to a gig that surprised you, either because it was better than you thought it was going to be, or maybe it was a bit of a car crash?
Good question. Unfortunately, there was a local band, shall we say, who were very, very, very well known, and I went to see them. I don't really want it. It sounds just local, this thing. It's pointless me even bringing that up. There was a band played at the Pavilion, and I thought, that is absolutely terrible. But however, the Crowded House were great at King Tut's. I didn't see that coming, as good as they were.
Okay.
So that was that was phenomenal. And unfortunately, the drummer who passed on was the funniest guy I've ever seen on stage. And it was the night, actually, I wasn't aware, but Tim Finn was actually in the band for a while, but he quit that night in Glasgow, so it was just the three of them on the stage.
Right.
And I think the drummer felt Pete, was it Hester? Yeah. I don't know, maybe he felt compelled to make up for the absence of a band member, but even this whole routine all night, it was absolutely hilarious. Yeah. So I didn't see that coming. I mean, I know that very well. I love Neil Finn, I love his voice, love his songwriting and whatnot, but at that time I wasn't that into them. But then I was absolutely gutting myself, and the quality of the songs and the music was fantastic. So I mean, there were a lot of people there who were huge fans and wondering who this new guy was, which was me. But however, I just didn't know enough about them, and it was like that. So that was a very fine and upstanding performance,
and a great venue to see them in.
Yeah. Just I'm very familiar with it. I haven't been in a while, right enough, but I shall. Yeah.
What about a gig that you travelled the furthest to get to?
Furthest to get to. I'm not that robust of a fan of anybody, really. It's not. I'm not lazy, but I'm from Glasgow, and people came here, so I could make something up. I went to see a band. I went to see Bluff in Madrid, but I was already there. Right? So okay. Is that all right? Is that all right?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, well, I can do better than that then. Where's the furthest I've been? Buenos Aires, local, but no, anyway, no. No, that's I'm trouble. I'll come back to that one. I'll come back. I don't. I'm not a fair weather fan. If I like something, I really like something. But I'll there are practicalities to be taken into consideration. I don't like MD that much,
So what would the furthest point from Glasgow be that KMO played then?
Up KMO, Vancouver,
Vancouver.
I suppose. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's far.
That is
Yeah,
far, yeah.
yeah. That was the first gig. Trying to think somewhere further. No, that's about it.
No?
That's an easy one actually, because we did the wings froze in Calgary or something like that, and we're like, "What's happening?" I was all right. The wings have frozen. I was like, "Is that a problem?" or something like that. Yeah, our noses pressed the glass as they're hosing down the wings. It's like to make it over the Rockies or something that's like, no, we won't make it over the Rockies unless we defrost the wings.
Yeah.
I think we should probably stop and defrost the wings then. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about music festivals? Are you a fan?
No,
No?
no, I like being at them. I like working at them, and I've worn several hats in terms of make myself available, compliant, not compliant, but just. I mean, like I've done many things in order to keep my head above the water, mostly music related. But no, I don't really. I'm not a huge fan. I don't really like being corralled and particularly up here. Just I'm not that. How can I put this? Yeah, no, I'm just not a fan. I just think it's kind of like performance light as well. People go for the camaraderie and throwing beer around and stuff. I hate that.
Yeah.
I don't like mud. I don't like people throwing beer around. I don't like queuing for toilets and stuff like that. All the things that nobody else likes. I would just rather not. And then you've got to get there and back. And I'm sounding that right, curmudgeon. I'm not at all. But when I have Tea in the Park was great. I played Tea in the Park 3 or 4 times. Uh, uh, Blur, Oasis, Pulp, all at the time when they were on their way up. I love seeing the bands, phenomenal bands. But unless it's sunny and there's an access to another area, a comfort area, then I'm a bit of a lightweight in that respect, if I'm being really honest. So there we are.
I'm kind of with you on that.
Yeah.
What about, you mentioned a couple already, what about the best support act that you've ever seen?
Joy Division
Joy Division.
by some, not even a country mile, by some interplanetary distance. Easily. It was just like, I mean, I knew who they were, so I was ready for them to come on, and it must have been me or 3 or 4 mates rush the stage. Nobody else batted an eyelid. It was like, and then we just kind of tails between our legs, like scampered back up to where we were sitting,
Yeah.
But so I didn't really see them. But in terms of just the position on the bill, they're supposed to wear the support right, but I was waiting for them. So no, that was easy. Well, first of all, I've got to think of the band. Where else would I be? No, that obliterates my memory. It's seeing Joy Division open for Buzzcocks. Yeah.
I never saw them, so that's a brilliant memory.
Phenomenal. It's just, well, if you've been to the Apollo, put 2 and 2 together and have a wee, like, what that might have been like. It's like, you're off planet someplace by virtue of just going through those doors and all the fireworks and mayhem that the Apollo allowed, which, if you manage to get through the portals with your cream egg and mints intact.
And what about missing the last bus or train home from a gig?
Loch Lomond Bear Park. And it was the night. It was 2 nights. It was the night the Jam were headlining, I think.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, so it was the Jam, Eurythmics. Who else was on that day? Was that the Stranglers? Did I see the Stranglers there? Well, I don't know, it might be in different years, but I get, and a mate managed to get a phone box and call his auntie to come and pick us up, but there was no transport at all. By the time all was done and dusted, I mean, it must have been one of thousands in the same boat, but I was luckily, somebody's mammy came and got us for the Bear Park in Balloch, so I have no idea how to go from that, but
That's a good answer.
yeah.
What was the loudest gig you were ever at?
Loudest giggles about. Two big pause. We're going. Loudest giggles about. Well, there have been moments in gigs that have been like, geez, oh, what the hell is that? It's actually, I know this might go against the grain slightly, but it's like, my wee brother was playing with Delamitri lately at the Barlands.
Yep.
And whatever, I think the woman sound man who might have had some kind of brain fart or something and fell over the faders. It just suddenly it was just like deafening out of nowhere. It's blooming Justin. How can that be? But that happened. Other than that, yeah, that was she's old. Not really knocked me off my feet. Not many people say that. It was yeah. But there we are. I could be a lot less complimentary than it. I'll just bite my tongue right there.
Okay.
Well, don't do it loud. It would have been the Apollo. I've no doubt about it. Yeah, loud. Who does he was loud?
We'll come back to it.
Aye, well, it's all proximity. I mean, we opened for the Waterboys and Night Moves as well. Now that was loud. By that time, I was a huge Waterboys fan, but it was very, very early on in their career, as obviously by them playing Night Moves, which is for anybody that doesn't know, it was in Sucky Hall Street above a footballer's disco called Victoria's. But you went right up to the top, and so I saw a lot of great bands there as well. And that was pretty loud. In fact, because Mike had more guitars than I'd ever seen in my life, and so that was a kind of like rocktastic, if you like, in my first real proximity to hundreds of guitars and hundreds of like. It was not a huge venue, so it was noisy in that venue. So
okay, perfect. You said you've saw a lot of your favourite bands. Have you got anyone that you haven't seen yet that you would still like to see that's still with us?
Will never happen. I've got one bucket list band that I would pay over the odds for. Not many things, because I disagree with that inherently, because it means that kids can't go. Talking Heads.
Right.
That would be all still with us, still performing. I just don't think that there's ever going to be a performance by that band, and it's that would be that for me. That would be like an absolute no-brainer. If I would move heaven and earth to get to that gig, one way or another.
Because they had a chat, didn't they, around the Rock and Roll, the Hall of Fame thing, that there was a possibility at the time. But I think David Byrne poo-pooed it quite quickly, I think. So.
Yeah, well, they're very different people, as David Byrne himself has said, and. Personality-wise, and the headspace that they occupy, they happen to be in the same band. But if they were, to meet now later in life, you would never put them in the same band. I don't think they just the chemistry and the combination of characters worked at that time.
Yeah, totally. Of course, he's got that good Dumbarton stock in him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah. I know a guy that has worked with him. And when he played the concert hall up here, my mate was welcomed and he was introduced to, David Byrne introduced him to his Dumbarton family. I don't know, telling tales out of school here or not. It's not any family, it could be any family. The two sides of the family don't get on. So they're actually backstage in different dressing rooms, which I thought was really weird. He's from Dumbarton, and the Scottishness in the whole situation means that one part of the family doesn't get on with the other part of the family. And for all I know, they're at different ends of the same street. That's very ungenerous, but that's in my head, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. It does sound unlikely, but you never know. As you say, they're all still here and they're all still playing.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I know. And also, geez, Tina Weymouth was my huge crush as a kid. It was just like, bloody hell. Yeah. Bass, little moves and whatnot. It's just like, oh, God, look at her.
Totally.
It's quite something, yeah.
Still is. Yeah.
Well, you may say I'm not googling images or anything.
I just have.
Right, okay, if you have, that's fine. It's your secret's safe with the internet.
Absolutely. Yeah. Who would be the band or artist that you saw the most? Do you think?
The Jam, probably.
The Jam. Right.
Yeah, probably. 14 times. That was my band from that era,
Yeah, me too.
from Strathclyde Uni through to the Apollo, through to that would easily. But again, it was like a hobby then as well, like a proper wee guy fan, looking to see what clothes they wore on top of the pops and all, and then and that kind of thing. So that would have been my bands, my. Me and my wee gang would have our parkas in our eyes, shad eyeliner and stuff, and go to see the Jam.
Yeah.
So that was it. So I saw them a lot, but the crushing disappointment of the Style Council after that, I've never got over that.
I love the Style Council.
I know a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like for me, it's like what is this? This is not. It's like it's just not the Jam,
No,
and
it's not, no.
that was enough. That was enough. In fact, even Setting Suns was a bit of disappointment as well, merely because there wasn't a picture of the band on the front. I mean, I was that shallow and wee and full of it that it mattered big time to me at that time. Yeah,
I totally get that.
And I'm thinking the best thing on this is Heatwave. It's a cover. I was that mental for it.
Yeah. Were you at that last gig they did at the Apollo in like '82 or something before, just as they were splitting up?
Well, if it was the Jam, yeah, for sure. I would have Sometimes I see Jam concerts from collectors and whatnot, and there's a support band that I don't remember, and then I get really upset thinking I wasn't there, and it's like, but the dates correlate, but I don't remember that, so they must be wrong. It wasn't they're wrong, not me, because I did see them pretty much every time they came to the Apollo.
All right, no, it was one of my favourite gigs. So really happy, really sad event, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Because they're splitting up and stuff, but
yeah. Well, I mean, with hindsight and many decades later, it's inevitable. I mean, I'm trying not to be unkind here. Maybe some of the records don't stand up to scrutiny after this time. So I like to retain the memory and not, with my ears now that have listened to quite a few records and recording studios and whatnot, it's like I wince a little bit, Yeah, so it's like I wouldn't maybe let that go. But here's me, Fleming. Like, who am I? They're the Jam. He's Paul Weller, and that's them. It's like here's me wincing at the record. Like, it's just the way I feel, or the way I feel. So that's all.
It's fine. It's your podcast, mate. You can say whatever you want.
Sure, yeah.
I managed to see him 2 or 3 weeks ago.
All right, yeah.
Down in Newcastle. He
sure.
played a small open air gig, so it wasn't a festival. It was just a kind of.
Sure. I've seen some video footage of that. Actually, it sounds great.
Seems never happier, I think. He's just doing his own
delighted.
thing. Yeah.
Delighted, but still cancelled. Not for me.
No,
and the cycling videos and oh no, I don't know what it says about me. I just like, what is this? It's like all that stuff. I wasn't mature enough. That's the word. It was me that was immature.
Right. I
couldn't go with it. I didn't see the artistic development of the creator. I didn't get it. I just thought, what are you doing that for? Quite simply put, yeah.
So put your performer's hat back on again, right?
Right.
So I'll ask you a couple of questions. So that's a tough one. What would be your favourite / best gig as a performer?
Performer, probably Wembley Stadium.
Wembley.
For kicks, for shits and giggles, not because it's like I was overwhelmed and I've learned the secret of the universe, or it's like, no, it's just like, this is a laugh, isn't it? It's like, and it was just like, it was hilarious.
And that was the way Rod Stewart.
That's right. Joe Cocker, I think.
Joe Cocker. Status Quo, maybe?
Yes. We weren't respectful. Sorry, we were not respectful at all. Right. I mean, there's lots of photographs of us because the porter cabins were like end to end, and the windows weren't blacked out. And unfortunately for them, we were all like holding up newspapers. Callan, we were just crying with laughter. I don't know why. It was just like, they're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. Well, it was just So that was funny.
It's a wonderful memory, but isn't it?
Oh, it was great. I mean, to step on stage and just go through the whole trope of like, hello Wembley, at Wembley. It's just stuff like that. I mean, I don't take that seriously at all.
No.
It was just, it was the novelty factor for us was like massive and huge. I mean, back now, there's not many people up my street have played Wembley Stadium. However, it wasn't. I hadn't reached the pinnacle of anything at that point. We were just looking around each other. It's like, we haven't got tuppence to scratch our arses with here. What are we doing here? You know, it's like, and it was kind of that feeling. But we just set about it like we always did, and it was fun. And the catering was magnificent. That's I'm looking for doggy bags all over the place. For no scallops won't keep. They won't keep. In a van up at all. All that stuff.
Oh, very good. So, what about like your least favourite gig as a performer? Maybe memorable for the wrong reasons, or you know, in the annals of time, something that didn't go quite right, or
we ended up playing some real dreadful places, but we just look at each other. We just didn't know why we were there. I mean, one springs to mind because the name as much as anything else, which is Legends in Warrington. It's like legendary for what exactly? Which and that was funny. I think, as I recall, it was like one of these. I see like video footage of a Bangladeshi storm centre was on stilts to protect it. That's what this place was like. It was like, so in case there was a flood or a tsunami or something, they built these concrete blocks on concrete stilts, and that was Legends in Warrington. I remember. Like every band's got a tale with that, but I'm trying to think what went wrong. Well, nothing really. Our favourite gig, I suppose, we played the Walton Theatre in Los Angeles, and although I'm using a little bit of artistic license, not much. I get stuck in the lift with Little Richard on the way to the gig. But the reason it stuck is because we'd heard the legend of Little Richard lives here, and on the way to the gig, we to get the elevator for reasons I still can't fathom. Marco decided to take the stairs. But I didn't. I get in the elevator, and that way when an elevator stops unexpectedly, I was the only person in it, and the door opened, and there's like Little Richard standing right in front of me, not moving. Right, so it's like spangly hair, and then he jumped in. The door's shut because he jumped in. The lift stuck. The sudden weight. There's a safety thing kicked in, so it allows me to say yes, I did get stuck in a lift with Little Richard, but just for long enough for him to. We're eyeing up at each other. Honestly, it was like really eyeballed. Well, he's a huge guy. I'm looking up. I said, "You're Little Richard, are you?" And it was totally into his Little Richard spiel, totally in it. Hey, I'm Little Richard. You give all my love to all those folk over there in Scotland. So there you go.
Wow.
From Little Richard to me to you. And then that was that night. The Slim Jim Phantom and his wife Britt Eklund came backstage to say hello. So that was quite memorable.
Very memorable.
Like, nothing else happened that day.
Oh, I love that. I think you might answer this one. What would your favourite venue be as a fan?
A fan of Apollo.
Apollo.
Yeah, Apollo. And that's, I say that not because it's not there now and you'll never experience it. I wish I could have folk experience it. Yeah. I know the Badlands is great. Mm-hmm. Greatest venue in the world, so on and so forth. For me, it's not. I've seen some great things there. I've enjoyed playing there. The Apollo kicks it up and down the street in terms of like development as a person, and it was like no other place I've ever been in my life. And I wish I could take folk there. It's not like, I've not been an elitist. I was at the Apollo, so anything you tell me about the Barlands is bested by the fact I've been to the Apollo. That's not it. I wish I could take it to the Apollo. I really do. That's how I feel about that. Yeah.
Totally get that. I don't want to upset you again, but I was at the last gig at the Apollo, which was the Style Council.
I knew it was. I was wondering whether you were asking me that.
No.
Right, no, because I definitely was not at that.
No, I bet you weren't.
No, I couldn't get my head around it at all.
It was very good, actually. It was very good.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, mate, absolutely. Okay, so favourite ever gig?
It probably was the Replacements, King Tut's, actually. That was I can do better than that. Favourite ever gig. Again, the nostalgia does cloud it a little bit as well. Unexpected, I suppose. Maybe not long after the Buzzcocks and whatnot, the Police at the Apollo, 1978, to £2 to sit anywhere you liked. And I had a conversation with Sting consequently, because we did a few gigs with. And I was telling I was there and whatnot, and he was explaining that was the first gig of their tour that was make or break for them, because they'd re-released Roxanne, hadn't been a hit, and he was saying that if that had not gone well, that you'd never heard, you wouldn't be here. Well, I wouldn't be here to sing to me, get me. But however, and that was a phenomenal gig as well. Just like much overlooked because of they were fantastic players, not punk rock, but however, the noise that those three guys made, the records that those three guys made, really stand up major. And that was a great gig, actually, which I didn't see. The Cramps opened for them as well, actually. That was great.
Yeah.
And Lux Interior dreeped off the front of the stage. I remember that.
Right.
And they walked along the backs of a lot of the front stalls, and he stopped right over me. I'm like, whoa. So then he dreeped down. He didn't jump up here. He jumped down this night, didn't he? As we call it in Scotland, he dreeped, didn't it? He flung on and then he let go. And then he ran over the fronts of the backs of the chairs. And then he pulled a garbage bag and threw the garbage bag over the front sort of area, and then he ran back on stage. That was that. I enjoyed that too. Yeah.
Good.
Again, I'm trying to kind of be kind of not let nostalgia cloud. There have been tons of gigs. I mean, see McCartney the first time. I mean, that was crying my eyes out. It was me and Marco were like during the Abbey Road medley. I mean, we were holding hands, we were greeting. It was also because our mate was on stage playing guitar. Robbie was playing the guitar, but Robbie came out at the start of the gig with a cigarette lighter, and he held it up for us. Just so that he recognised, he knew it was in Paris, the Palais d'Omni spot, so that to let him know that he knew we were there.
Right. And
that was a magic moment. I'm well up now. God, I'd never seen anything. I was just like, this is. I'm in bits now. This is the fabric of my entire existence is wrapped up with these people on the stage, particularly the guy in the middle playing the bass. But it's like on the songs and in the end, I'm just, you could sweep me up, put me in a bucket. I mean, I was like,
yeah. I was lucky enough to see him as well, just the once. But yeah, you're right, very special.
Cool. I mean, it's like it's not really just a. I know people, I don't like the Beatles. Well, you don't like breathing then. Everything, your bit of corduroy, your paisley pattern, your whatever else, they did it first. They did it. They gave you everything. They took the padlock off the swing park. That's one of Marco's actually. They took the padlock off the swing park for you to enjoy the swings. That's what the Beatles did. Whether you're a huge metalhead or you're a psychedelic, whatever else, they did it first. And I'm going with that. Yeah, proof of God. The Beatles are proof of God.
I might use that as a soundbite.
Really? Yeah.
So my last question then. So that's been an interesting one. If you could recommend one live album that everyone should own a copy of, what would it be?
My God. Well, it's not Hanks by Stiff Little Fingers. Got that one.
Why is it not Hanks?
Because it's Stiff Little Fingers and it's just live. You just go and see them instead. It just doesn't stand up to scrutiny.
I was at their last gig in the Apollo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's the opening acts? I can identify things by opening acts.
No idea. I do know I'd seen Rush just the week before, and I get a hard time because I had a Rush t-shirt on at the gig.
Right. Okay.
Getting a hard time. I can't remember who supported them. No.
Right. Can you remember any of the encores?
I Love You Love, maybe.
Oh, right. Okay. Maybe it wasn't that one. Mine is Tiger Feet. That's neat.
Maybe it was then. It was certainly one of the old 70s.
Yeah. That was, I remember doing that.
So one live album then. Come on.
Live album. Of course. Nice one. I don't really listen to live albums much. I don't know. It's a category I wouldn't have expected you to ask me. A live album. Yeah. Fairly niche.
It's off the back of the gig chat. People then say, actually, I wish I saw that one. And then someone says, well, there's a live album of it. And then, you kind of get...
Oh, God, no. I do the opposite.
Yeah.
To me, it's like a live album. Unless you've jiggery pokeried it, it's like it's an entirely different species from actually being there. So that's why I've avoided it, because I've seen stuff things lots of times, and I heard the live album, and it's like, and in fact, it's maybe the only live album I've ever bought.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm being so down on it. It's like, I was there. That's not it.
I've heard some KMO bootleg, not bootleg, but
Oh yeah,
release live
yeah.
albums. They're really good. One in the Pavilion that you released is
All
really
right, yeah. Can you imagine why I wouldn't listen to that?
good. Everything sounds as if it's like 20% faster than it should be.
That's it slowed down then. No, we were kind of we
No, it's really
weren't.
good. Really good.
Oh, we weren't exactly metronomic. That's down to me mostly. It's just I get excited, and it's a fairly organic experience. I get
Yeah.
quite excited and jumpy, and I'm ready to go and whatnot. And by the time like I'm like 10 seconds in, everybody's trying to catch me up, So, and I apologise to that's it's my fault.
Okay.
And sometimes Jim's tried off. He tried off and he slowed me down to
Yeah.
like bringing the dad, but it's not good. I'm gone at that point. I'm already looking outwards. I'm looking to the punt. I'm looking to my folk. I'm here who've paid money to come and see, and I want to be part of this gig.
Yeah.
And I kind of lose track. It was maybe a bit unprofessional sometimes. I lose track of that there's a differentiation here. You're performing these songs to the best of your ability. But I've been around certain musicians who rehearse everything till there's no life left in the performance.
Yeah.
Witnessed it as well. So I would rather err on the other side of that. I just like, well, I can play these tunes. I know how they go, and if it's a wee bit faster, then that's because it's an organic situation that I've maybe misread. That's how I approached any live stuff.
Well, they're always a great live band, mate. So whatever you were doing was
That's
good.
very kind of you, yeah.
So,
Well, I've been
and
very lucky. I mean, it's like who's been lucky enough to have Robbie McIntosh or Marco Rossi and Steph Gear and Jim McDermott on the drums? Who's that lucky? Me. I got that lucky. So I'm pretty privileged.
you should be. And you're not finished yet, right? You've got some stuff going on just now.
Oh yeah, well, the new record. I've got the test pressings here.
Okay.
And round to my pal Nick Lowe's this afternoon, Demas Productions, No Strings Records. He's got a turntable set up. I was round at Jimmy Egypt's last night and got a fright because I'm very, very specific about what I want to hear and whatnot. I heard some things I didn't expect to. I didn't hear some things I wanted to, but that depended on your circumstances that you're listening to. So I'm going to go into Nick's this afternoon and listen again, and perhaps come away with, right, we're good to go now. I mean, the records, the artwork's done. Test pressing, so obviously the studio has been and gone, but I don't know, call me paranoid or whatever else. I'm of a stripe. I can't do the pre-order thing. I've got to know that it's what it's, and I've got to know what it is that I'm selling you or what I'm asking you to pay for. I'm not selling you seems like roll up. No, but it's not who I am. I'd rather have it. I'm happy with it. I say, okay, if you'd like to buy this, here's. You'd help me out massively because it means if you pay for this, I get to make another one. Which is why this is taking so long, is because it's like, make no bones about it. It's an expensive business to pay everybody. The artist must get paid, whether it's a blooming triangle player or somebody pushing a fader, or everybody must get paid. It's just otherwise the whole house of cards tumbles. So, and if I'm able to avail myself of some funds from the sale of this record, it means I can make another one without women. I don't know. Penury focuses the mind, shall we say? Yeah.
Absolutely. And when do you think the record will be out?
Well, I'd say the end of September, which is champing on the door a wee bit. I mean, as soon as I've okayed this, fingers crossed. I just press the button and then it becomes available, and then I'm only making 500 initially, and I'll try and make them a bit special. How I'm going to do that, haven't quite come to that conclusion yet, but nothing tacky. I kind of just Signing's not tacky.
No.
But I'll try and think of something else to give added value. It's all about giving added value to the folk that have stuck with it and enjoy what it is that you do. It's important to give added value rather than it's like, a sense of, I deserve this. No, nobody deserves anything. You work for it. There's no shortcuts. You do the best you can, and you invite people to participate and help you out with your ongoing endeavours. That's all. That bit. Mealy mouthed or whatever. So that's the way it is,
No, it's nice to have the passion for it still. So
Yeah, well, I do. I love being in the studio. It's fantastic, and it's not cheap. I mean, that's the elephant in the living room. And these days, since the COVID years and all that stuff, where no one could make a buck doing anything, it's not the unspoken anymore. It's like, how are you making a living doing this? That's a simple. That's not a taboo question. That's perfectly a reasonable question to ask. How do we do this? How do we move forward? How do we pay this guy? How do I pay the bass player? How do I pay the guy's got to put petrol in his car to get to the studio? These are proper questions. Anyway, I'm trying to.
And bringing it back to live music to finish, do you anticipate some gigs off the back
Yeah,
of the album?
definitely.
You do.
Definitely. It will be the tack I've taken with this record is I've utilised my experiences of different types of music. So there's not really a thread of consistency, particularly, other than me writing them and singing them. Sonically or performance-wise, there's a lot of different musicians playing different types of stuff. I want a blooming mariachi trumpet over here, or I want some kind of bass loop thing over here. But it's all stuff that I like. So it could be Joy Division, but it could be the Carpenters. Because I like all these things. I'm not going to deny my palate to bring that attitude to the studio because it's music. I like it. I want to do it. So there we are.
So gigs are coming up then.
Oh yeah. I mean, I might do some stripped down versions of it. Yes, the answer's yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. That's the answer.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, well that was Live Music and Me with Kevin McDermott. Kevin, thank you very much for your time, mate.
My absolute pleasure. My absolute pleasure. And long may your lum reek. And all of that.
Cheers.
All
mate.
the very best.
Take care. All the best. Thank you.
Over our garden wall, I hear the sirens call.